Well, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, and welcome to Columbus Cars and Coffee. It is a brisk Saturday morning, about 45 degrees out here in Columbus, Ohio, and I wanted to use an opportunity to show you guys something and to share something with you that we've kind of joked about, and we've talked about a little bit on the channel, and that is the Church of Bad Decisions. I want to talk about my own bad decisions, and I want to talk about how I became head minister at the Church of Bad Decisions, and where that came from for me, what it is that brought me there. And I actually happen to have that exact reason here with me today. This is my father's 1991 GMC Syclone. And this is not going to be your typical Syclone video. This is going to be a very personal Syclone video. So, if you're interested, please stay tuned. Got a lot to talk about. Now, most of you probably know what this vehicle is. For those of you who don't, 1991 GMC Syclone, 4.3 liter V6, turbocharged with the Mitsubishi Turbo, Garrett air-to-water intercooler, all-wheel drive system, 35-65 split, 700 R4 transmission inside. Very, very cool truck. Blah, blah, blah. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. You could find out all the information about Syclones all over the place. But what I want to talk about specifically is this Syclone, because this is our Syclone. My father bought this car when I was 10 years old, and I remember buying it at Irwin GMC in Lima, Ohio. We traded in a silver and black Gladiator van, which I don't know why in the world we owned in the first place. But I remember when he bought this vehicle, and I remember that he promised my mother that it was useful because it could pick up truck. You know, it could haul dog food and that kind of stuff. These can't haul dog food. Well, they can haul a little bit of dog food, not a lot. 500-pound capacity in the bed, 0 towing capacity, at least advertised-wise. But it was never designed to be a truck. It's not what it's for. It's a sports car hiding in a truck body. And that's something, you know, we could talk about. The fact that it embarrassed, you know, Ferraris, the fact that it was faster than essentially everything out there 30 years before you had a faster truck than this. The fact that it was really, really detuned from the factory to be able to not completely embarrass the ZR1 Corvette that came out at the same time. There's a lot to talk about with these vehicles, and they're beautiful. They're wonderful little trucks, but they are tiny, tiny little trucks. You just don't really ever see that often. But as I said in the intro, this is our truck. And this is really where my love of weird, fun, fast, interesting vehicles came from. I will draw a line directly from this truck to all of the bad decisions that I have made in my life. Is because my father owned this and because I got to experience this in my younger days. You know, I did get to drive this car in my high school days. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun in it. Take that for what you will. But this is an all-original truck. It's got a little over 27,000 miles. It's all stock, all original. You know, it's a really, really cool truck. It's also valuable, but I don't care. The value of this truck is not in a monetary sense. It's in the memories that are in this truck and around this truck for me. And yeah, I'll take it for a drive here in a minute. But the fact that it's a low mileage, all original bone stock edition, you know, yeah, it's worth $30,000, $40,000, something like that. I don't know. But it doesn't matter because the memories and what this car signifies to me are worth way more than any of that. And I think a lot of you guys also can relate to that kind of thing. So I wanted to show you guys, like, this is the genesis of the Church of Bad Decisions. This is what started it. This is what, for me, brought me into the culture of cool, fast, fun cars. It's just a little black pickup truck that GMC randomly built, and I absolutely love it. Well, welcome to the nicest interior of any S10 you've ever been in. Again, I don't want to get too much into the car review side of things, but Original seats that are in the car. Everything's original that's in here. As I said, you can see the odometer there. Just a little over 27,000 miles. Got my Irwin GMC keychain still from 1991. Fires right up just like a 4.3 does. There you go. Still has the spider webs on her. Yes, that says Garrett. Air to water intercooler. Again, this vehicle is bone stock, all original, never been modified. Still has factory exhaust, factory wheels, factory suspension, factory. It's as original as it gets. Very, very cool trucks. They were not really well known, which is kind of part of the fun. Whenever you come to a car show, I'm at Cars and Coffee, which is typically a bit of a younger crowd. A lot of the younger folks, you know, by younger folks I mean like under 30, have absolutely no idea what this truck is, because this truck is over 30 years old. They didn't make many of them, so you don't ever see them. Most people have never seen one of these things in person. So, you know, you pull in and you're going to have a few people who are in the know, who know what they are and what they're capable of. But for the most part, most people just think it's just the S10 with a body kit, which, I mean, kind of. It's a lot more than that. But it's a great truck. The interior doesn't have any creaks or bangs or any of that kind of stuff. It's actually a really, really nice S10 that doesn't do truck stuff. Go for a drive. I know I am uniquely blessed to be able to drive a low mileage, all original one of these things. Most of them do not exist still. They are available out there on the aftermarket. Most of them you're going to find are, you know, 100,000, 120,000 miles or more. You know, they're on their second engine, whatever the case may be. They've been used, abused, because these vehicles were designed to be used fast. They were not designed to be gently driven around. It is a quick vehicle. It is still fast by today's standards and takes modification well. They can be insanely powerful. The all-wheel drive system that's in this vehicle is more than capable of being able to rocket you to a very illegal speed very, very quickly. I am very, very fortunate to be able to drive this vehicle, and that we still have this vehicle. A lot of people who are in the automotive enthusiast camp don't happen to have the vehicle that, you know, they originally got addicted to vehicles with. We just happen to be lucky enough that we still own this vehicle. So it's pretty cool to be able to get back in it, and you know, immediately I have the memories of driving this thing around all through my entire life. It's a really cool experience. I'm very, very, very glad my dad still has this truck, and that I get to still enjoy it. And again, I mentioned I don't care how much it's worth. It's never going to be for sale. The memories and the emotions that are wrapped up in this truck, priceless. By the way, it also hauls. Oh, I love this truck. I love this little truck. One of the things a lot of people don't discuss or probably even really understand is this truck was incredibly fast for its time period. In 1991, this was essentially the fastest thing out there. Especially things that you would actually ever see. There was nothing on the street that had the acceleration that this thing did. From stoplight to stoplight racing, from a dig, it was just insurmountable. There was just nothing out there that could handle it. Largely because of that all-wheel drive system. It's an all-wheel drive system out of a Chevy Astro van, so it's not anything that's, you know, super complicated or super exotic. but it's just incredibly, incredibly capable. And it didn't care what the surface you were on was. You know, back in my day, and I'll sound like an old guy here, when you went out street racing, you pulled up to a stoplight with whoever you're going to race, and you had the red light, you waited for it to turn green, and off you went. Whoever made it to the end of that whatever stretch was the winner. You didn't have this, you know, pour a puddle, do a burnout, back up in your own lines, you know, that kind of thing was not really a thing. And in the 90s, you didn't have cars running around on slicks, on methanol, and, you know, that were street cars. That wasn't a thing. If you had 500 horsepower on a street car, it was damn near undrivable. And if it was drivable, it couldn't hook for crap on the street. It had a slick on it. You had to go to the track. You needed a prep surface. Like, this doesn't care. It doesn't need any of that stuff. That's the thing that I think a lot of people just never really realized about this truck, is how insanely capable the traction on this vehicle is. You can hook it anywhere. Pull up to a light anywhere. Don't have to warm the tires up. You don't have to do a burnout. You don't have to have a controlled surface. You don't have to have any of that. You just brake boost it a little bit at the light, left foot step over to the left, and off you go. It's just that good. In controlled circumstances, there were some vehicles that came around that same time that could come close to it in acceleration or beat it in a quarter mile. Not many. But almost every single time, those things had to be under a controlled circumstance, in a controlled environment, with a perfectly prepped surface, you know, on the right day, with the right driver, that you could hit the gears, hit the shifts correctly. This thing needed none of that. You could put a normal person or a kid in this thing, and it just does what it's supposed to do. It's no bells, no whistles, no high technology, just does what it's supposed to do. And it's kind of like old school hot rodding, to be honest with you. Now, this was also my first experience with a vehicle that actually really used turbo boost. I was in 740 and 940 turbo Volvos with my parents, but those were like, 5 or 6 or 8 pounds of boost, and they were pretty pedestrian, we'll put it. They were not sports cars by any means. This thing, because it's a big turbo, it's got that awesome turbo lag drama where you put your boot in it and you wait for it, and then it goes. And goes and goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. There's a lot of drama to it that we just don't get to have in a lot of the modern vehicles, with the twin scroll turbos and variable geometry turbos, the tuning that's available, camshaft designs, that we've kind of engineered that out of this, out of the modern vehicles, that you have 100% in this vehicle. It's just, I don't know, it's such a fun experience. It's such a pure experience. I absolutely love this. That acceleration, even 30 years on, is just fantastic. It's so fun. And you notice there's no chirping of tires, there's no burnout, there's no none of that. It just does what it's supposed to do. I don't know that I can overstate how wonderful that is, because it's what the party piece of this truck really was. Everybody concentrates on the numbers, and it's not really about the numbers. It's about the experience of the truck, and you could just go out and have fun with it, and you don't have to be a great driver. The modern GTR is kind of the same thing, and some of the new modern vehicles where they've got really crazy, traction control and computer-aided assists that are really capable of being able to make you a better driver than, or look like a better driver than you really are. This truck was kind of that way. It won't chirp the tires. It definitely will not do a burnout. It just works. And it's fabulous for that. One thing you may have picked up on as I cruised the dash there is the fact that the rev range on this thing is interesting. It's kind of old school muscle car where it's a yellow area at 4,800 RPMs and it's red line at 5,200 RPMs. Well, that's part of the way that this vehicle was hobbled is it won't even hit red line. It shifts before that. So the peak power for this car is at 4,400 RPMs, 280 horsepower. If this vehicle were allowed to rev better and get to, say, 5,500 RPMs, the power band can easily be there. We all know turbo cars like to rev, right? Well, this thing was restricted so that it honestly really couldn't. But with a few minor changes, it's got a lot of power available. Can you hear that? Probably not. There's not much of anything to hear. I'm going through a construction zone. And there's just not the creaks and bangs and rattles that you're used to out of a car of this era. From GM, or well, you know, every American brand in the early 90s. We just didn't have that great a build quality. But like the steering wheel, this leather-wrapped steering wheel is just fantastic. The interior is fantastic. The seats have a lumbar support and they've got great side bolster. It's all just a fantastic, fantastic vehicle. And yes, I understand I'm in an excellent example of this vehicle and I am beyond fortunate to be able to do this. But it was such a cool vehicle. And I hope my excitement and my enjoyment of this vehicle comes across and you guys can truly understand how much this car has motivated me and shaped the car person that I am because of my experiences with this vehicle my whole life, essentially. From the time I was 10, we've had this vehicle. So if you can do that math, you can figure out how old I am. It didn't make sense for them to build this thing, but God, I'm glad they did. It's just so good. Oh, look. A red light. Did you hear any tires spin? Nope. Absolutely no drama whatsoever. I don't want to be too abusive with this thing at the moment. It has been sitting for a few years. The tires are flat spotted and they're also like 13 years old. Firestone wide ovals. So they're a little square, not circular. But you get the idea. So there you go, folks. That's how I got into this. That's where bad decisions began in my world automotively. If it wasn't for my dad buying this little black truck and selling it to my mother as a functional vehicle, I never would have been doing this kind of thing. I never would have developed this passion, this hobby, this desire to own cool, interesting, fast, fun, unique vehicles. It's really been a significant thing in my life, to be honest with you. I can't overstate just how much of an effect this little black truck has had on me. And I'm sure all of you have a similar vehicle. It's not necessarily a little black truck. Maybe it's a Nova or a Mustang or a truck or who knows what. But there's something in someone out there in your life that brought you to who you are, that turned you into the person that you are, that instilled the passion in you, that woke up a desire to build and drive and enjoy things that are cool. Whatever it is, your version of cool. Now, while this is certainly not for everybody, we all have our thing, whatever it would be. If it's old school muscle, it's old school muscle. Clearly, I'm an old school muscle car guy too. But this vehicle taught me how fun it is to have something that's fun and all-wheel drive and turbocharged and interesting. And if it weren't for that, 10 years afterwards, wouldn't have bought that, which is a twin-turbo Dodge Stealth. And realistically speaking, would never have had this GLHS Dodge Charger. Learned how to love the old 80s and 90s turbo stuff because of that truck. So, I'm making all this heartfelt moment and heartfelt video because I have a thing I want to talk to you guys about, and that is launching the Church of Bad Decisions page. Currently on Facebook, there is a Church of Bad Decisions. If you find it in the groups page, you can find it. And I want to use our platform and our ability to network and all of our range of people that we have. I want to be able to share the stories that have brought all of you to where you are in your automotive obsessions or hobby or whatever you want to call it, whatever level you're on. So I want to start a new YouTube channel that's going to be specifically for Church of Bad Decisions members. And I want to be able to share your stories. As I said, everybody else has got a story. It's not necessarily about a Syclone. It could be something completely unrelated, but there's something that got you to where you are and has helped you to be the person that you are today. And I want to be able to show some of that off. I want to get in interviews and talk with real people, normal people that have grown up and done this kind of thing. And I want you guys to share your ideas and your experiences with everybody else out here. I happen to have a platform to be able to do this, so we're going to launch a brand new YouTube channel right after this. It's going to be called the Church of Bad Decisions. It's going to just literally be members of the Church of Bad Decisions, and you don't have to buy into being a member. You just got to be a member. Share your stories, because most of us, if we're lucky, get to share some of these stories with our friends and family, or maybe that one random guy that comes up and talks to you at a car show. But it's part of what made us who we are, right? The passions that we have for this stuff is what made us who we are. So if you're on Facebook, Church of Bad Decisions, you're going to find it there. You could join up. I want you guys to post your information. I want to be able to go in and maybe pick one person per week, and we'll have a conversation. Whether it's, if you're local, we'll come and get you, and we'll do a face-to-face conversation. If it's online, we'll do a chat online. Whatever the case may be, we'll figure out how to make it work. But I want you guys to put your information that's in there. I want you to talk about who you are, what brought you to where you are, what the vehicle was. And I want to be able to share with the community some of what you guys are doing and what you guys are interested in. And, you know, that way we all feel like we're part of a community of bad decision makers. It's better when you have friends. Anyway, so like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Let me know what you think I should do. 1991 GMC Syclone, all original, low mileage car. Do I just clean it up and leave it alone? Do I modify it a little bit? Do I modify it a lot? I don't know. What do you think I should do? I think I should take it on Power Tour this year. Would the people of Power Tour appreciate this thing? Maybe. It's got air conditioning. It's comfortable. That might make sense. Anyway, let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe. All that jazz. We'll see you on the next one. Hope you guys enjoying a gorgeous Saturday and lead into a wonderful, wonderful weekend for you. We'll see you on the next one, guys. Take care. Oh, yeah, and Church of Bad Decision shirts, the website's going to be going live March 1st. So I'll put that link in the Monday video. Yeah, it'll be live here shortly, so stay tuned on that.